A social media strategy plan is a summary of everything you want to do or you plan to do, hope to achieve on social media. It guides your actions and lets you know whether you're succeeding or failing. The more specific your plan is, the more effective it will be. Keep it concise, don't make it so lofty and broad that it is unattainable or impossible to measure. In this lesson, I'll walk you through an 8 step plan to create a winning social media marketing strategy of your own. Number one, choose social media marketing goals that align to your business objectives. Social media is one way to reach out to your clients. For some people, is the only way. But the question is, what is your business objectives for this month? What is your objective for this week? What is your objective generally? Set smart goals. Whatever your objectives are from which you're setting your goals, the first step to a winning strategy is to establish your objective and your goals. Because without goals, you have no way to measure success and your return on investment, even if you're paying a social media manager. Each of your goals should be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. That's what SMART means. This is the SMART goal framework. It will guide your actions and ensure they lead to real business results. An example of a SMART goal is this: we will use Twitter for customer support and lower our average response rate to under 2 hours by the end of the quarter. That goal is absolutely smart, is specific, is measurable, is attainable, is relevant, and time bound. I'm going to repeat it again. We will use Twitter for customer support and lower our average response rate to under 2 hours by the end of the quarter. Track meaningful metrics. Vanity metrics, like when you say vanity, like you're talking of number of followers or likes, they're easy to track, but it's hard to prove the real value because you don't know if they are real followers, if they are converting or not. Focus on things like engagement, click through, and conversion rates. You may want to track different goals for different networks or even different users for each network. As much as possible, create different plans for different social media network. For example, if you use LinkedIn to drive traffic to your website, you would measure click throughs. If Instagram is for brand awareness, you might track the number of Instagram story views. And if you advertise on Facebook, you might want to see the cost per click, which is a common success metric. Social media goals should align with your overall marketing objectives. This makes it easier to show the value of your work. Ask the organization you're working with, or ask yourself if you're managing your social media, what your current and overall goals are. Then start developing your social media marketing plan by writing down at least 3 goals for social media. So, step one, write down at least 3 goals for social media. As much as possible, choose only the for each social media, you should have the goals you want for each. Step two, learn everything you can about your audience or your audience. In the previous lesson, you have understood what customer personas are. So create your customer personas. Knowing who your audience is and what they want to see on social media is key. That way you can create content that they will like, comment on, and share. It's also critical if you want to turn social media followers to customers for your business. Go back to the customer persona lesson again and listen again if you need clarity on that. Number three, know your competition. Step three, know your competition. Odds are your competitors are already using social media, and that means you can learn from what they're doing. Conduct a competitive analysis. A competitive analysis allows you to understand who the competition is and what they are doing well and not so well. You'll get a good sense of what is expected in your industry, which will help you set social media targets of your own. It will also help you spot opportunities. Maybe one of your competitors is dominant on Facebook, for example, but has put little effort into Twitter or Instagram. You might want to focus on the networks where your audience is undeserved rather than trying to win fans away from the dominant player. So use social media listening. Social media listening is another way to keep an eye on your competitors. Do searches of your competitor's company name, account handles, and other relevant keywords on social media. Find out what they're sharing and what other people are saying about them. As you track, you may notice shifts in the way channels are used, or you might spot a specific post or campaign that really hit the mark or totally bombs. Use this kind of intel to inform your own social media strategy plan that this is what will work for you. Do a social media audit. Step 4. Step 4, do a social media audit. If you're already using social media, take stock of your efforts so far. Ask yourself the following questions: what is working and what is not? Who is engaging with you? Which networks does your target audience use? How does your social media presence compare to your competition? Once you collect that information, you're ready to start thinking about ways to improve. If you check on the attachment section, you're going to see a resource that can help you or guide you in doing a social media audit. Your audit should give you a clear picture of what purpose each of your social accounts serves. If the purpose of an account isn't clear, think about whether that account is worth keeping. To help decide, ask about whether to help decide, you can ask yourself questions about: is my audience here? If so, how are they using the platform? Can I use this account to help achieve my goals? Asking these tough questions will actually help you keep your strategy focused. Look for imposter accounts. During the audit, you might discover accounts that are fake, using your business name or the names of your products, or your pictures or something. These imposters can be harmful to your brand. So never mind capturing followers that they can actually capture followers that actually should be yours. You should report them and encourage others to do the same. You might also, over time, want to get your account, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all that verified to ensure that fans actually know who they're dealing with. That's actually grow your brand. Step 5, set up social accounts and improve profiles. Optimize your bio. Decide which networks to use. As you decide which networks to use, you will also need to define the strategy for each. Write out a mission statement for each network, why you're in this network and what is the goal, what is the mission. It could be a one sentence declaration to keep you focused on your goal. Like I explained before, you can say, we will use Twitter for customer support to keep email and calls volume down. So you keep directing people to Twitter for clarification, or WhatsApp or something. One more, you will use LinkedIn. You could also say, we will use LinkedIn for promoting and sharing company culture to help recruitment and employee or employer advocacy. You can also say, for LinkedIn, we're only connecting with our investors, with our guarantors, while on Instagram, we're connecting with our customers, while on Twitter, we're offering customer support. So if you can't create a solid mission statement for a particular channel, you might want to ask yourself if it's actually worth it, because social media can be very time consuming. So set up your profiles, and once you've decided which networks to focus on, it's time to create your profiles or improve existing ones so you align with the strategy. You've seen the video on how to set up your profiles and how to optimize. Make sure you fill out the profile feeds properly, include keywords that you use to search for a business. Go through the lesson on how to optimize your bio. Use consistent branding, your logos and image across networks so your profiles are easily recognizable. Another pro tip is use quality image that follow the recommended dimensions for each network. I've attached in the social setting up social media plan the guide for images, the sizes, the guide for image sizes for different social networks. So don't let this overwhelm you. Remember, it's better to use fewer channels well than to stretch yourself thin trying to maintain a presence on every network. Most times when starting out, I encourage startups to use two channels, and then over time you can bring in more. Step 6, find inspiration. While it's important that your brand is unique, you can still draw inspiration from other businesses that are great on social media. Social media success stories, and all of those things, case studies, what people are saying, you know, just you can draw inspiration from them. You can repost and repurpose it. But what is more important is consistency. Consistency helps keep your content on brand, even if you have multiple people on your social media team. Maybe you have so many admins and all of that. Make sure you're consistent. You can also get inspired by asking your followers for inspiration, what they want to see more, and all of that. And you can also be inspired by finding out what they really want to hear from you and what they're saying online. Step 7, create a social media calendar. Sharing great content is essential, and of course, but it's equally important to have a plan in place for when you share the content to get maximum impact. So most times, for example, things like Instagram, you want to be quite particularly pleasant about the aesthetics of your feed, what your profile looks like, or whatever. And then on other platforms too, you need to really get intentional. And to get intentional, you need to create a social media content calendar. Your social media content calendar needs to account for the time you spend interacting with your audience, not just when you post. Although there's room for spontaneous engagements like DMs and when you have to respond to comments immediately, but you need to have maybe say 2 hours a day you're engaging on other people's profile on what they're saying and your social listening. So you have to include it on your social media calendar. Set your posting schedule. Your social media content calendar lists the dates and time at which you will publish types of content on each channel. It's a perfect place to plan all your social media activities from images and link sharing to blog posts and videos. It includes both your day to day posting and content for social media campaigns. Your calendar also ensures your posts are spaced out appropriately and published at optimum times. Using your insights, you can find out when is the optimum time to actually schedule your post. Your social media calendar can also help you determine the right content mix. Make sure your calendar reflects your mission statement you've assigned to each social profile so that everything your post is actually working to support your business goal. You might decide that 50% of your content will drive traffic back to your website, 25% of your content will be curated from other sources, that's user generated content, 20% will support lead generation, maybe ebook download, newsletter sign up, 5% will be about the company culture. And that's 100%. So placing these different post types in your content calendar will ensure you maintain the right mix. Now, if you're starting from scratch and you're not sure what type of content to post, I will encourage that you use the 80 to 20 rule. The 80 to 20 rule states that 80% of your posts should inform, educate, or entertain your audience, while 20% can directly promote your brand. You don't have to do all sell, sell, sell. We just discussed social selling. So you have to incorporate social selling. So you could also try what we call the social media rules of thirds. One third of your content promotes your business, converts, reads, and generate profit. One third of your content shares ideas, stories from thought leaders in your industry or like-minded businesses. And one third of your content is personal interactions with your audience. Okay, do you get that? One third of your content promotes your business, converts readers, and generates profits. One third of your content shares ideas and stories from thought leaders in your industry or like minded businesses. One third of your content is personal interaction with your audience. So once you have a calendar set, use a scheduling tool like Facebook Creator Studio, which you're going to be seeing later in the course, to prepare messages in advance rather than updating constantly throughout the day. You might forget sometimes, network might be bad, or you might be overwhelmed. So we're going to look at Facebook Creator Studio and some other scheduling tools later in the course. Step 8, evaluate and adjust your strategy. Your social media strategy is a hugely important document for your business. And you can't assume you will get it exactly right on the first try. As you start to implement your plan and track your results, you may find that some strategies don't work well as you anticipated, while others are working even better than expected. Look at performance metrics. In addition to the analytics with each social network as we store in step 2, like I told you that you can look for engagement and all of that, you can use other parameters to track social visitors as they move through the website so you can see exactly which social posts drive the most traffic to your website or WhatsApp or whatever you're using. It's also important to reevaluate, test, and do it all again. So once this data start coming in, use it to reevaluate your strategy regularly. You can also use this information to test different posts, campaigns, and strategies against one another. Constant testing allows you to understand what works and what doesn't, so you can refine your strategy in real time. Surveys can also be a great way to find out how well your strategy is working. Ask your followers for email lists and website visitors whether you're meeting their needs and expectations and what they would like to see more of. Then make sure to deliver on what they tell you. Social media moves fast. New networks emerge. Others go through demographic shift. Your business will actually go through a period of changes. All of this means that Your social media strategy should be a living document, and you have to review and adjust it as needed. Refer to it often to stay on track, and don't be afraid to make changes so that it better reflects new goals, tools, or plans. When you update your social strategy, make sure to let everyone on your team know. That way, they can all work together to help your business make the most of your account. So keep reviewing, keep reviewing. What is the focus is actually to get results. Thank you.